There's a new headline that has caught many Singaporeans by surprise, and some are even quite angry about it. And the reason is because a HDB unit has been won in terms of its tender by a clinic offering $52,000 plus in monthly rental monthly, which means 1 year $600,000+ of rent cost. This was actually first published by Dr. Hisham on his LinkedIn, and he's actually mentioned that this amount seems very obscene. $52,000 per month for rental in a HDB area. Of course, when this gets viral, news will start covering it, correct? And Straits Times went to do a quick interview with one of the clinic owners. Co-owner of firm behind record 52,000 bid for Tampines HDB clinic says location justifies cost. Mr. Andrew Chim, age 37, co-owns iHealth Medical Holdings that won this bid of 52,000, and surprise, surprise, the area of the place is only 500 square meters. Does that mean that $100 per square foot or not? That seems very crazy for Tampines Street 96, correct? We're not even talking about Paragon, where there are a lot of high-end medical patients. This is Tampines Streets right in our heartlands. That is why I'm bringing this up for discussion. Because many times on this channel, we talk about inflation, and in particular, medical inflation is what I handle in my field of work doing financial advisory. So I had to investigate this. And my first question is, who is Mr. Andrew Chim? And how is he related to Dr. Sean Lam? And this is actually an article which was just a month ago, with iHealth Medical Clinic in the backdrop. If you happen to stay in Yishun or Serangoon, you may have seen their clinics before. So it seems that Mr. Andrew Chim is an investor together with a friend, a doctor, which is probably Dr. Sean Lam, as well as a friend's wife. So 4 people own this company, of which Dr. Sean Lam probably is the anchor doctor of this new Tampines clinic that they have to pay $52,188 in terms of rent. The story on this article actually already captured this 4th clinic that will be opening in Tampines. And if you're curious, there are other clinics are in Boon Keng, Serangoon, and Yishun. I went to dig further in this article and I realized that they have invested only $250,000 at the start to set up a first clinic, and they have since raised monies from investors at a valuation of $7 million. Total monthly revenue of more than $300,000, and if you do the math, that means with 3 clinics, each of them are making on average more than $100,000. But I have to look back at this valuation of $7 million. I've been on Singapore stock markets, and I do know locally listed GP chains. One in particular got delisted very recently, and it's actually Healthway Medical. This one I've seen in my own mom's neighborhood also. So Healthway Medical was delisted for $66 million, and at the point they had more than 100 clinics in Singapore. 66 million, 100 clinic. Each clinic is 660,000. I'm a bit surprised that the valuation for iHealth Clinic with just 3 was at $7 million. Just in case you're curious on valuations and stuff, probably they wanted to raise $700,000, and to get a valuation of $7 million, they just sold 10% of the company's equity to raise that funds. That again is my own personal opinion, so if I'm incorrect on that, do forgive me. But let's move on quickly back to the case study. When asked to justify this eye-popping rent, Mr. Andrew Chim mentioned in the article that this is in the middle of Tampines West, with 5,000 BTO households and many upcoming developments like mixed-use project and shopping mall. Based on his assessment of the area, the catchment, he feels that this could be a very good place to launch his 4th clinic. But the curious part also is in this article, he has also shared that his other clinics pay between $7,000 to $10,000 in rent. And it got me thinking, if you have been paying $7,000 to $10,000, why would you want to pay $52,000? It can't be Tampines is 5 times better than Serangoon, or Tampines has 5 times more people than Serangoon or Yishun. Doesn't quite make sense, correct? So I had to dig further, and in other articles, I've also came to realize that some other units by other healthcare chains went at $16,008 for one at Telok Blangah. Then one at Tengah went for $40,088. Wow, that's also a big amount. But of course, that's still being dwarfed by $52,188. And all indications suggest that the team over there probably know that this is a top price to pay. Getting more data, KRIS Medical Clinic has won one at Tampines in comparison for less than half the price at $25,388. So again, it boils back to the question, $52,188, why make such a big outsized bid? Or maybe they know something about the potential of the place that we don't know, which is good for them, but as long as medical inflation don't get passed on to consumer, we'll be fine. But the world doesn't work like that, correct? Someone paying top rent will need to make profit from it, which means they have to find ways to generate outsized revenue. I'm placing that number as they probably need to generate $150,000 in monthly revenue. And actually I asked a private client of mine who's more familiar than me in this space. I asked him, 52,000 rent, is it out of the norm? And would a Heartland clinic be able to generate 150,000 easily in his opinion? He shared with me that they don't really do neighborhood clinics, but if he recalls correctly, the rent is usually 10 to 20,000, which is accurate based on what we've seen in another article. 50,000 is easily double of that, but also 150,000 is not impossible if there's a high patient flow, 80 to 100 patients every day, and open every day. Key thing is open every day, and that has been reinforced. Mr. Chim in his further interview has shared that they are expecting to see 70 to 90 patients. And they are looking to open including weekends and public holidays. Wow, chiong every day. That's why I probably need a second doctor, correct? Who's a locum stepping in. You probably have to pay $1,000 per day to run a full shift, I guess. Which means $150,000, $5,000 a day. The locum doctor could be paid $1,000, $5,000 less $1,000, remaining $4,000 to cover all medical costs, admin costs, electricity, etc., and in particular the rent costs. Rent cost again works out to be $1,700 per day if we average it out already. So how to make this money? How to make this $150,000 per month? Let's look on top. Will that translate to higher medical costs for patients visiting? Mr. Chim has answered that despite the higher rental, consultation fees will be $30 to $35, which is comparable to many clinics. But actually when I saw that, I just did a quick search. The average GP cost for consult is $20 to $25 only. And this is according to the guideline by SMA. Short consultations, $20 to $30. Long consultations, $30 to $55. And if we need to see 70 to 90 patients, of course it has to be short consultations. So $30 to $35 seems a bit higher, but if you look carefully, that could be up to 50% higher than the recommended guidelines. I covered this story because inflation affects, again, each and every one of us. And if you have liked this episode, smash the like button as always. And let's answer this question together. Are there bidding wars too much in heartlands of HDB flats? Today we talk about medical service. Think back at the problems when multiple coffee shops changed hands and sold for profits. Every time they have a new owner, what they do? They raise the rent, correct? And the poor laksa shop will have to increase their price to cover this cost. This costs have to come from somewhere. And that's why we've seen articles before. Popular Toa Payoh store selling laksa was quoted a new rent 50% above budget when the coffee shop had a new owner. Or this story about a vegetarian store, they faced a triple in terms of their rent from $930 to $3,000 when the coffee shop had a new operator. Rent in a lot of ways drives cost, and in some ways, if these things are unchecked, it could spiral to a roaring fashion. With that, I end my presentation and invite you to this previous video I have on high cost of living in Singapore. It relates to today's topic and it may intrigue you. With that, I'll sign off from here and see you there. Take care as always. Goodbye.